What is up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we are speaking the language of bromance. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Yes.
So this guy stopped by the language of bromance office the other day.
Okay.
And he was like, hey, I really like your operations. I'm like, yes, we get a podcast out every Sunday. He's like, how do you do that? I'm like, because we don't have lives. Friday and Saturday nights, we have nothing going on. So
we just talked about this. We were like, oh, when should we should come up with like a regular schedule for recording, because we kind of bounce around like, oh, let's do it this day, let's do it this day. Oh, we should come up with a regular schedule. Well, what day should we do it? Well, I'm free Friday and Saturday nights because I don't do anything. Oh, me too. I guess we'll do it on Fridays or Saturdays because we don't do anything else.
So this guy, Richard, he asked me, he's like, okay, well, I've got the idea. You guys need to franchise. And I told him, Richard, I'm like, we've tried. We called it the LOB Army Intelligent Reports.
Yeah. And that's, that there was a guy that was in charge of that. And his name was Richard, and he was terrible at it. Failed miserably.
But Richard, he said he's got the ideas. He knows how he can take this from one podcast to America's podcast. And that
America's podcast?
Yeah. He said it's going to be churches, squares, McDonald's, and language of bromance. And that man, Richard, was the founder, Ray Kroc. Came to me from the grave.
Okay. You know what you should do? If he comes back again, you need to kill him because he's probably a zombie.
Yeah.
Because he's been dead
for a while.
I don't know if you know this, Shawn. He's dead.
Yeah.
You were visited by a dead man.
You know what he died from?
Cholesterol?
Heart failure. Yeah. One too many Big Macs, not Whoppers.
I knew it.
But Richard, I recently sat down with my wife, and there's a movie that came out a few years ago called The Founder with Michael Keaton.
It's not that old. Came out last year.
Was it last year? I thought it was like 2 or 3 years ago.
No, it was last year.
2016.
And the reason I know this is because I caught the trailer for it in like November of last year.
I guess it was 2016. Man, Netflix is really killing it. I remember when Netflix used to like get movies like 12 years old.
Yeah. No, they're on it now. No, I caught the trailer for it. And I kept my eye on it. I was like, I want to see this movie because this movie looks fucking good. And I tell you what, like, I'm not a fan. Not really a fan. I am not a, connoisseur of film. Like, I don't necessarily go for the, what they call the Oscar hopefuls.
Yeah.
Where, something's there's a bunch of buzz about this movie, and it's heavy with the drama and things like that. American Beauty would be an example. I liked American Beauty, but I needed to be told to watch that movie. If that makes, what I mean?
It wasn't one that you saw like, oh, I need to see that. Like Moonlight, I think won last year. Like I see that, I'm like, I don't really know if I want to see that. If I want to watch two dudes give each other hand jobs, I'll just do our podcast.
I need somebody to tell me to watch those kinds of movies.
Yeah.
But I will say that I did catch the trailer for this one, and this is one of the few times that on my own I was like, I want to see that.
Oh,
because
anything Michael Keaton though.
There it is. That's the reason. One reason, Michael Keaton. I'm like, oh my God. Because Michael Keaton has been fucking crushing shit.
Birdman was awesome.
Birdman was so great. So great. And he nailed it. And honestly, for me, based off Birdman, that's why I told myself, I want to see this movie. I want to see Michael Keaton fucking nail another awesome movie. Because that's what it looked like. Just off the trailer, it looked like that's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Michael Keaton, and check this out. I'm doing something else, and it's going to be badass.
Yep. You like McDonald's? Yeah. Do you like movies? Yeah. Do you like hating yourself? Yeah. Well, watch this movie. Because I don't know. I mean, like 3/4 the way through the movie.
I like hating myself. That's what I do on Fridays and Saturdays.
Like 3/4 the way through this movie, I'm like, you know what? I'm really hungry for a Big Mac. And then they kind of throw you the curveball. It's like, oh, I'm never eating at McDonald's again.
Shawn, I have not eaten at a McDonald's in almost 2 years.
Been the last time we went?
Yeah. Until I watched this movie. It didn't happen immediately. I will say that. I watched this movie, and then it was probably like a week later or 2 weeks later, somewhere around there. I'm driving around. I had a bunch of errands to do. I'm like, man, I'm hungry. I don't know what to get. And there it was.
Yep. Golden Arches.
There it was. Golden Arches. And I was like, God damn it, here we go.
God damn you, Ray Kroc, and your magical burgers.
And I pulled into the parking lot and I parked and I immediately hated myself. And I'm like, oh, I remember this feeling.
You know what's good I found? Sonic burgers.
Yeah.
Because I kind of had that craving for like
you got it. We talked to a wide audience, Shawn. You gotta explain Sonic. Because I don't know if I don't think there's Sonic everywhere.
Is it just a Midwest thing?
I think so.
So Sonic's basically it's got the style of the old drive-ins. The one here in town doesn't even have a drive-through. I've seen some that do, but this one you have to pull in. You drive into a little slot. Yeah, type in your.
The one in my town has a drive-through.
Does it? Yeah, we drove through one recently that did, and I was stopping by on the way home, so like, man, I really want Sonic, and I drove around like 4 times looking for the drive-through.
No,
and they didn't have one. Maybe it's on the other side. I pulled
into a spot and I hated myself. I probably look like an idiot.
Well, I'm like, maybe it's on the other side. Maybe it's on the other side. Maybe it's on the other side. Maybe it's on the other side.
How many sides does a building have, Shawn?
4. How many times you go around? 4. But yeah, so Sonic, it's old stuff. In some places, they actually have like car hops that skate. I haven't seen that recently, but
I haven't. I have been to one where I've seen car hops skate, but not recently.
Gotcha. I think Quincy's, when it first came up, they had it. Our old town had it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you pull into a slot. They have a little menu. You push a button. You say, "Hey, I want a burger and fries." And they're like, "Burger and fries, $6." I don't know what it is, but. And then they bring it over on a tray and give it to you.
Mr. Fancy Pants.
Oh, you eat
I don't pay attention to the prices.
Oh, here, just put it on this cash. Well, that's the main thing I noticed from here is like you get a burger for 15 cents.
Yeah.
I don't know what that translates
to. The old meal was what, 35?
Something like that,
the burger, fries, and the Coke.
Yeah. I don't know what that translates into today's money, but that seems pretty cheap. Even back then.
Yeah, super fucking cheap.
Of course, now I guess.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, and I did notice this when I went on my visit to McDonald's for the first time in fucking forever. That honestly was the cheapest meal, like fast food-ish meal that I've had.
Well, yeah, you can get like a double cheeseburger, fries, and a soda for like $3.
Right.
Because it's all in that dollar menu.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what that says about the quality of the food.
See, I don't know. I have my own issues with McDonald's, and it's not just it's fast food and blah blah blah. I don't have a problem with fast food in general. I'm a fan of Wendy's.
Wendy's is good.
Wendy's is good. I like
Queen?
Wendy's. I'm okay-ish with Hardee's, Carl's Jr. with those. I'm on the fence, but I'm pretty well okay with them. Here's my problem with McDonald's, and this is okay, Shawn. You're getting a bit of a rant here. Okay, this is why I feel McDonald's has ruined, or did ruin, the food service industry in America, just America. Okay, so Ray Kroc comes up with this. Not comes up. Well, I mean, if anybody's seen the movie,
yeah.
But, Ray Kroc is, by the end, of course, as history tells us, Ray Kroc owns McDonald's. Okay. And the thing that makes McDonald's so the key, one of the keys to McDonald's as a business, and the thing that makes it so appealing to almost anybody in business is consistency. Okay? When you go to a McDonald's where I live, when you go to a McDonald's where Shawn lives, when you go to a McDonald's in Hong Kong or north, south, east, west of the country, of this country, of the US, if you order a cheeseburger and fries, you're going to get a cheeseburger and fries that's the same anywhere you go. If you get a cheeseburger where I live, get a cheeseburger where Shawn lives, they're going to be the same. Okay? It's the consistency. Now, the reason that I hate it, that's the one thing that I hate the most, and the consistency I feel is what ruined the food service industry in the US. And here's why, is because every other chain restaurant picked up on that and copied that model. Everybody wants to be, when you go to any chain restaurant, and I'm not just talking fast food, I'm talking about Applebee's, I'm talking about TGI Fridays, Chili's, all these places. It's all about consistency.
Yep.
That's why I'd like Shawn. Okay, Shawn, you've worked in places like this where you get a paper of a menu item, and it's going to have so much of this, so much of this, and so much of this. And it's the same in every one of those restaurants is going to get the same recipe, and they're told to make it exactly the same. Now, what that did is the consistency of it is what killed innovation and creativity and mom and pop places in the food. It homogenized the food service industry.
Yeah, it makes it easier for the top level, because now they basically buy in bulk and then send it off to different places, and everything can make this frozen food.
Exactly, and because they're buying in bulk, they can buy for cheaper, therefore maximizing profit. So with this homogenization of the industry, it crushed your mom and pop's diner, that they had for 20 years, and they served fried chicken, and some days it, might have been a little burnt, and some days it was perfect, and whatever. I love those places. When I go out to eat, if I'm leaving the house to go eat, that's where I prefer to go. I prefer to go to those places because I want something different. I don't want the same bullshit. I've eaten the same bullshit. I know what it tastes like.
Well, like you said, it's all kind of the same. So even if you go to, TGI Fridays or Applebee's or some other chain restaurant, if you're getting a hamburger from any of those places, they're pretty much the same thing, even there.
Exactly. Okay. So when I go out to eat, I want something different, and I want something unique, and I want something that may not necessarily be the same thing every single time I go. Maybe it tastes a little different. Maybe they added a little extra salt. Maybe they cut back on the salt. Who the fuck knows? But I like that. I like my food to have some character to it. I like my kitchen to have some character to it.
Even if you can't see it.
Exactly. So when you look at places, and here's the other thing, and it's also been a big issue for me. I do feel like it's changing for the better, but when you look at places, especially you saw this in the 80s and definitely the 90s, and it like I said, it's getting more prevalent. If you go to like Europe, if you go to Europe and stuff like that, a lot of those smaller restaurants are still fairly operational. McDonald's didn't take over the UK and France like it did America. And so the culinary or food service industry, if you go outside of the US, the food service industry still holds a bit of, it's a more reputable profession. If I go to Europe and say I'm a cook, I feel like I would get more respect than if I tell people here in the US that I'm a cook.
Yeah, probably.
Now, I will say, like I said, I will say that I think that's changing for the better with the introduction of, like these cooking shows and like Iron Chef and shit like that. People are seeing, oh wow, this is actually a somewhat complicated thing to do, to make a meal and make it well, make something amazing. It's not just, 30 burgers on a grill, push a button and you're done. But you know what made it like that? McDonald's.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely exposed the back end of it too, because you can see what they're doing back there. So it's like, oh, they're pulling a tray, putting frozen burgers, closing it, pushing a button,
Right.
beeps, open it up.
It gave you the impression that anybody can make a dinner and make it, and it'll taste great.
Yeah, under 30 seconds.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Like, you look at, so the movie starts out where you see Kroc making his way out to the McDonald's brothers, which is interesting to think that they're like, growing up, you would go to the McDonald's, there'd be the founder, Ray Kroc.
Right.
And so like I didn't even really know there was a McDonald's brothers.
I didn't know that either.
Until you see this.
Exactly.
And these guys
did not know that either. There was two. And I'll tell you what, like you kind of got the impression, like, I guess maybe you would think from what you see from the trailer, you get the impression that Kroc's not a super nice guy. Like he has his moments of darkness is what you get from the trailer. And so you get I would think going into this movie, I thought he's going to meet these brothers and they're going to be, two guys that are that have a good idea and don't know what they have.
Oh, yeah.
That they were just kind of like unwilling saps.
Yeah, like, oh,
but
shucks.
You don't.
Yeah, we can make burgers quick.
Right. But you don't get that's not it at all. Like these, especially the one, and I can't think of the actor that plays him. I wish I could. The guy that plays Dick.
Yeah.
Like that dude's a hard ass.
Yeah, almost a genius. Because doesn't he play in a Parks and Rec? Wasn't it that guy?
That's why, yeah. I can't think, like I said, the name escapes me off the top of my head, but yeah, that's exactly who it is.
Yeah, but I don't know how close this is to the actual like real life experience. But yeah, they knew what they had. I mean, they're able to make these burgers. Your order placed and pick up in 30 seconds. Like that was
not
the
just
idea.
that, they planned it out so meticulously.
Oh yeah, their kitchen
down. Oh, see now the whole story of them, because it gets to a point. He goes to see these brothers. He takes them out to dinner, and then these two brothers are telling the whole story of how they came to own this hamburger shop that makes this amazing shit and does it amazingly fast. That whole story there fucking fascinated me, and I totally didn't think I would be in. That is the point. I was like, I didn't know I would be as interested in this as I was.
Well, you look back at it, like we're used to like walking up to a counter and placing an order and getting our food, but back then, like this was a revolutionary idea to be like, no, you have to get out of your car and come up here. It's like, but there's no plates, there's no silverware. No, you just eat it from the wrapper.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I, an animal?
And that's like, and now I would say that if you tried to do the exact opposite, it would be weird.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you pulled your car in and then somebody set a tray with an actual fucking glass plate and actual silverware on it, you'd be like, what the fuck?
I just want to eat this in my car and go home. What the fuck's the matter with you?
Why are you giving me a fork?
This is a burger. I eat it with my hands.
Give me a fork. I'm stealing this fork. You got another one? Give me a salad fork.
If I order enough food, I'll have new silverware for the anniversary.
I don't know what a salad fork's for, but I want it. I don't know what the difference is between that and a regular fork, but
I'll use it for soup. I'll show you.
Yeah. Where's your God now? I'm eating soup with a salad fork.
But yeah, like even then, like you said, from the trailer, it looks like he just kind of swooped in and steals their idea.
Yes,
But-
exactly.
But like he explains, he's like, he comes back, he's like, all right, guys, I figured it out. Franchise.
Right. And you're given within the first 3 minutes of the movie, you're given the impression that this guy, that Michael Keaton's character, you get the feeling that he is a bit of a, I don't want to say a huckster, because I don't feel like he's a huckster in the sense that like he sells people a bill of goods. He doesn't seem like a snake oil salesman.
No, yeah. I didn't see that at all.
But he's very keen to be, kind of like he was listening to those records that like had the motivational. It was like basically like listening to a motivational, tape or whatever.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, he's that kind of guy. I've never been that much of a, I don't know what the word, I can't think of what the word is. That whole, like, I'm gonna listen to this motivational speech and then take on the world. Like, that's never been me.
Yeah, well, usually whenever people that like say like, oh, that worked for me, it's because they kind of like fell into something. Like this is like from the movie, it's like total luck that this happened. They ordered this milkshake machine from him. He's like, nobody needs 6 milk machines. Like nobody can do more than one at a time.
Right.
And it was smart. Like he identified that something was happening here, but running into the right people helped guide him into how he was going to make his money.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, the story, just the in general story of how these two brothers came up with this idea for the whole system that they use in order to get from a raw burger on a grill to your hand in under a minute.
Well, you know what that really reminds me of too? It's very much like the food trucks. Because like one of the things they talked about right away is like, listen, when we first had our store, we had burgers, we had, pulled pork, we had fried chicken, we had, they listed all these things they had. And like,
right. Just like any diner did at the time.
It's like first thing we did, burgers and cheeseburgers and fries. That's all we sell.
Yeah. Because he was saying that he realized that, over 80% of his sales were from 3 items: burgers, fries, and
Coke.
soda. And I'm like, yeah. And you know what? That's good point. Just like fuck food trucks.
Yeah, food trucks have like, it's basically the same
we
thing.
could totally start a food truck.
I'd be down for that.
What would we do? What would we make?
Horseshoes.
Yeah?
You put a horseshoe truck out in California, you're just rolling the dough.
No shit.
Yeah, I've had that idea for a while.
Be like, look, it's an open-faced burger with cheese on it.
Yeah, and fries. And they're like, is it vegan? Like, sure. It's vegan. It's vegan all the way in your belly.
Except for that giant slab of beef that's in there.
Yeah, and the cheese. And I don't think the bread is vegan. What the fuck are vegans anyway? Are you guys like zombies?
What do you guys eat?
No,
brains?
They eat
it. Bird food? What?
And they'll
bird
eat
food, isn't it?
They'll take a bite of it like, fuck this, I ain't vegan anymore. It's like, yeah. Saving America. One vegan at a time. Hey, how do you know? Hey, how do you know they're vegan? Because they tell you about it
all the time. Sons of bitches.
Eat a piece of meat.
And shut up. Don't be so fucking pretentious about it. Jerks.
But yeah, I mean, they go through and they perfect how to get this burger to you in 30 seconds. And it's, like I said, like they tell that story, like you said, it's super impressive. And like they have like this big idea, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so successful. Yeah. And it's crazy to think about like this, like you were talking about this time, everything was a drive up diner. You drive up, the bellhop comes over, they take their order. There's always kids all over the place, like, smoking their cigarettes.
They were car hops, weren't they?
Car hops, yeah.
Bellhops work in hotels.
Oh, yeah. So do you go from a car hop to a bellhop? Like, is that the chain of hops?
Is that the promotion?
Yeah.
First I was delivering food, now I'm picking up bags. Let me get that for you, huh? One day I'm going to be an actor, and I'm going to go and see the president of Hollywood. I'm going to say, Mr. President, you got to put me in your picture.
I got a movie idea starring Martin Keaton. Who's that?
It's got to be
It's called
dynamite.
Dynamite.
I'm a hot little firecracker with a whole lot of moxie.
Here's a nickel. Thanks for carrying my bag, kid.
Oh, nuts.
Well, at least I can go get a burger now.
That's a good point. How much do you think these guys were getting paid?
Which guys? Bellhops?
The guys.
Car hops?
No, not bellhops. The guys at McDonald's. These people at McDonald's.
I don't know. I was curious about that. They didn't really say. They must have been making a decent enough living. Like, I doubt it was like anything,
right?
You know, like they weren't rolling the dough. It was probably, I mean, they're probably making like manager money back then.
Dude, how crazy is that? How crazy is that to think that these two guys are running a hamburger stand? Because that's what it is. It's a hamburger stand. Like, I mean, it's a food truck that doesn't move.
Yeah.
And they're selling hamburgers, cheeseburgers, and fries and Coke. And I think milkshakes.
Yeah, they had milkshakes in there too. Yeah,
that's their menu. So on average, they're making 35 cents.
Yeah.
Per sale. Like, how that's the part that blows my mind is how the fuck are you like having a viable business making 35 cents a sale?
Yeah, you think about it, like if they did 1,000 sales, that's $350 a day.
That's fucking crazy. I mean, yes, I understand the whole, money was worth more back then. Like, a $1970 could get you a lot farther than a $2017. I totally get that. But I mean, just when you hear those numbers, you're just thinking like there is a part of you that's saying, motherfucker, 35 cents.
Well, yeah. Like how much, like what was the margin on that? Like how much were they actually making per burger?
Right.
Or fry did they sell?
And all their shit was like custom built.
Yeah. So, they were paying that off for a while.
Like the ketchup guns and the fucking mustard guns and all that shit. They made all that shit.
Yeah. Well, again, that's like how genius it was. Like they basically said, okay, listen, we're not doing the car hop thing because you get some sketchy characters here. Like it's always kids just hanging out. So
I did love that part. They're like teenagers. Yes. And I'm like, oh no, not the surly teenagers.
I don't know. How do you feel now? You're in your mid-30s. Like, aren't
with
teenagers
their hula
a bad
hoops
thing?
And their Pac-Man video games?
When there's cigarettes, they have the cigarette machines there.
I have a teenager in my house.
How's that feel?
Well, when I say it out loud, I feel old. No. Funny story for you though. Later on, at the end of October, she wants to go to. They're having a Rocky Horror screening.
Oh, nice.
In town, and she wants to go.
Has she seen
it?
And
I was like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But she wants to go to the theater and get the whole like experience.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh my god, I could go because she wanted to bring her boyfriend and have it be like a date.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, I could go, and then we could go like together. And she was like, oh, and I'm like, you know what? Forget you. And I'll tell you what, if you go, I'm probably going to know like 8 or 9 people. Yeah. If I drop you off, I'm going to pull up and then they're going to be like, hey, Richard.
Well, what you need to do is drop her off, go home, change into your Frankenfurter outfit and then show back up.
Oh my God, I totally should.
Yeah.
And then she'll be like, how do you know all these people? I'll be like, hey, you're in my wheelhouse. This is my turf.
Your dad wasn't always a loser podcaster.
I had dreams. I wanted to be a singer and a dancer.
I was a firecracker.
Check me out. Oh my God, Dad. Oh, and then we could take a bunch of pictures and post them on Instagram together.
Yeah, there you go. Make sure you tag all your friends.
And her friends. And my parents.
But I kind of think it's crazy. Like these dudes, like you said, they built this whole thing up from nothing. And they had tried to franchise. Like he built his ideal store in Phoenix, which is a little ways away.
Right. And I totally did not know that's how they were originally intended to look.
Oh, I gotcha.
Where it was kind of like like you said, it was kind of like a food truck. Yeah. It was, it was a very small place. It had a little slide window. Basically what you would see at like a drive-through today.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Except you weren't driving through it, you just kind of walked around it.
Exactly, except it was just a window that you walked up to. It wasn't a drive-through. That was another concept that came later, but
Yeah, I don't know when they start doing drive-thrus. Do you know?
I have no idea.
1978.
I bet that fucked with people. Be like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't even have to get out of your car. You just
this
drive
is
next to the
amazing.
store and you just roll down the window and then we just throw food at you.
Yeah. That's
Like, imagine
America
trying
really
to like train people to do that. Be like, okay, so you open up the window and then the car pulls up. And be like, and then what? Well, you hand it to them. Like when there's like they get out of the car and I hand them the food. No. They stay in the car. You open the window. See, I would totally get this wrong. They'd be like, okay, Richard, it's your first day. Just open up the window.
I open the window and I get in their car. No.
I get in their
No, you
car
don't.
and then I hand them the food.
Wait, I eat their food? I eat their
No.
money.
While they watch.
Wait.
Well, I eat their money. That'll be 35 cents.
Ow. It hurts so bad. Ow. Ow. Oh, here comes my bonus.
Yay for profit sharing. Here you go, boss. But yeah, like, so Richard, you open the window and then you hand them the food. Well, don't they have to get out of the car No, they just pull the car right up to the building. Wasn't that dangerous? They could hit the building. Because they probably didn't have lines and shit painted back then.
That's
so
true.
people are just like driving around the parking lot.
And somebody came up with a bright idea to put those big cylinders,
Yeah.
cement blocks. Like, oh, fuck up their car, not our building.
I've driven around this 4 times. Where's the drive-through?
Sir, you're not in a drive-in. The fuck you doing?
Oh. And then there's people just parked, be like, where's the drive-through? Bring me food. Just somebody stand out in the parking lot. Bring it to me.
Time travels hard.
You just pull up in the parking lot and then open the doors, get out of the car, just stand next to your car and yell your order out loud. Just open up the door and close it. Cheeseburger!
Fry!
Hold up your hand. I have money!
Coke! I'm so hungry!
Please feed me.
I want
know,
it my
please.
way. Wrong place, asshole.
But yeah. Like, okay, so I'm thinking like you open the window and then you'll be like, no, you have to roll down your window. How am I supposed to get the food to you if you don't roll down your window too? I open my window, you open your window, and then I reach into your car.
You reach into my car? No, that's dangerous. You trying to steal from me?
Give me your money. It's 35 cents.
But I think
Reaching into somebody's shirt pocket looking for loose change.
Here, let me just get in the backseat of your car, see what I can find. What's funny though, so like they get all this stuff together, and for some reason Kroc convinces them to get him a franchise. Like they've tried it, it didn't work.
Well,
but
no, they put him in charge of like opening new stores, right?
yeah, but he got the first one, I believe. I thought he was franchised the
Right.
first one, but then
Yeah, that's the way I understood it too. Yeah.
he was. I think he got 1.5% from each of the franchises he brought on, and then he got like I think the McDonald's guys got like 0.5%. So like not much money. Like you think of 1.5% of a 15-cent hamburger is like
No
nothing.
shit. No shit.
So he's going through all this, like he is like, and I loved how they showed this. Like he tried to get like his fancy friends first. It's like, hey, you're old and retired, right? It's like, yeah, you got lots of money, right? Yeah, you should buy a McDonald's. They're like, yeah, no work at all, right? No, money just rolls in.
Yeah, you just put it in there. It's like a cash register. You're just like, hey, I want a McDonald's. Ka-ching, ka-ching. That's you. That's you taking money out.
Yeah,
That's what you do.
you're getting
You just,
1.5 cents per burger sold.
oh my God, it'll be amazing. You just be like, hey, that's my McDonald's. Hey, look, let me just go in the register. Do. Beef.
But what they found, Richard, so the guys that created McDonald's, Richard and one of their names Richard, they called him Dick though, which
They
I think
did
was
call
kind
him
of a
Dick.
subtle thing. Richard and Maurice.
I think that you thought it was a subtle thing.
Yeah. Like
I think at the time, it's just a name.
You're Dick McDonald's.
I've fucking dealt with this my whole goddamn life, Sean. It's just a goddamn name. It's a nickname. It's a fucking nickname. I don't know how it came about. I have no idea what where the relation is. Maybe there was a Richard a long time ago that was a real fucking asshole. and the name just stuck. Like, I don't know.
I hereby declare all Richards to be nicknamed Dick.
But that's how it is. That's the world I live in. So it's just a name. It's a fucking nickname. I'm done with this. Line in the sand. That's where this ends.
You got worked up on it. I've never called you Dick before.
Well, honestly, it doesn't bother me because, people do. Some people do. And it doesn't bother me at all. I guess the only time it bothers me is when I know people are doing it ironically. Like, was that Dick? I'm like, motherfucker.
It's Rich or Richard, asshole.
You son of a bitch.
So, but what they talked about in the movie was that, like, they tried to franchise, but they couldn't keep a hold because they were very like control freaks when it came to their business. Like they wanted to look good. Like they didn't want to.
Not only did they want it to look good, they wanted it to look good and be good. They wanted to make sure that they had the exact same thing
the consistency
at the other places. Yeah.
So yeah, you get that burger there in San Bernardino, and then you go to Phoenix. It's the same burger, like the same quality.
That's what they want.
Which I could get behind back then. Like you're talking about, like this is your name, because this is really when you talked about like your name on the store. Like it really wasn't Croc's name on the store; it was McDonald's name on the store.
Right.
You know, I don't know how Burger King felt about his name.
And also, they had this weird. The two brothers had this weird kind of like love affair with the system they create. They're like, we don't want anyone perverting our system.
Well, I mean, they put a lot of time and effort into it, so I can.
They put a fuck ton of time and effort into it.
But yeah, so then they tried to franchise before, and it failed because they went and checked out the one that they built in Phoenix, and the person there just kind of let it go to shit. Like they just didn't keep up the quality. They added different things, and so Kroc, he's like, I won't let that happen, and so he gets all of his fancy business friends involved. And he goes to one of the McDonald's that his friends built. And what are they selling, Richard?
Fried chicken.
He runs out on the golf course. He's like, look at this burger. This looks like shit. And there you guys are selling chicken. Guy's like, well, yeah, people like chicken. Not at McDonald's, they don't. All he sells burgers and fries and Cokes. Fuck you, I'm taking your McDonald's.
Eventually chicken.
Yeah.
But that's later.
And then 2 all-meat patties, special sauce, sesame seed bun. And chicken nuggets and other things.
Okay. That was something I thought of, okay? This was a thought running through my mind when I saw the movie. Like, how much of a fuck you is it to take those guys' business and then name a fucking burger after one of the guys that you fucked over?
Was that his nickname? Was it Big Mac?
Yeah. Because he was big and they called him Mac.
I didn't know that. That is
like,
dick.
How much of a fuck you is that?
Nice. Kroc is
like
a real
that one.
dickhead.
Like that's like so much of a fuck you. Like you almost like you laugh because it's funny, but it's not that funny.
Well, then Big Mac comes up. He's like, "Well, why didn't you name him after my brother?" It's like, "Well, I called it Big Dick, but your wife missed me too much." Oh, burn!
What? Somebody turn the grill down in here. Anyway.
But yeah, Croc's like, listen, I won't let that happen. And I thought that was kind of an endearing moment if that really happened, where he's like, listen, you're the savvy old dude that is ruining what I'm trying to build here with this McDonald's.
Right.
So what he did, and I read this in here, is instead of selling like large territories, which is like a lot of fast food businesses do that, like you buy a territory. Like you buy Missouri or you buy Illinois.
It was an idea that I guess they got from like car dealerships, because that's how car dealerships work.
That makes sense. But
because if you want a Ford car, then there's only one place to go. There might be multiple places that sell you Ford cars, but they're all owned. There's only one person that's in that area that's selling you Ford cars.
Yeah.
or Chevy cars or whatever.
But what he did is he kind of instead just sold individual stores. So you go to like a town and Steve may own this McDonald's and then Greg may own this McDonald's 2 towns over instead of just one person owning them. And from here it sounds like he was trying to get more like people who just had enough money to get involved but was going to run those stores and like do their best to like make good quality out of them, not somebody just looking to invest money.
The like you see him like it does this whole like montage of him giving his, oh, you guys should, own a McDonald's. Like you see a montage of him giving those speeches at like a Shriners event and fucking bingo halls. And what does McDonald's mean? Family. And that fucking voice that Keaton does throughout the whole movie. Where he like it kind of has like a twang to it, but not.
Yeah, well, it's like Kroc's originally from like Northern Illinois, I guess. So I don't know if that's where he gets it. His family was Czech's origin, and I guess they came to Chicago. So I think he's first generation American, like born in America.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh,
but yeah, you bring in these people that are kind of pushing it, and Richard, he starts to realize like, listen, I'm not making much money. Like he's having trouble because, like we said, 1.5% on a 15-cent burger is not that much money. And so he meets a gentleman who
okay, like let's put that in today's terms. So, say, so let's say you have that deal now. So 1.5% of, okay, like you said, double cheeseburger, fries, and a Coke, $3. That's 45 cents.
That's 4.5 cents, isn't it?
No, 45. Because 15% of $1. Yeah, you're right. No, because I said 15. I thought 15. Yeah, so 4.5 cents off of a $3 sale.
Not much at all.
No, even if you make 1,000 of them in a day.
What's that, Richard?
You know what? Never you fucking mind. How about like that? That's how much. It's worth about this much.
Fuck you, my calculator's not handy. But yeah, so then he starts trying to figure out, okay, what's wrong here? Because he had a contract with them that basically said that, the McDonald's brothers had all like last say.
Yeah.
And so then he starts...
And they had a whole lot of say.
Oh, yeah. Like, they would not let anything go through because, it was their baby. It'd be like somebody... Right. It'd be like Kroc when he's trying to buy our podcast right now. He comes in, he's like, hey, I think I got an idea for you guys. We're like, what's that? He's like, you guys should try and be funny. We're like, no, not gonna happen.
No, never. No, it's like you have a child, let's say a daughter, for example, and then some other dude shows up and then... He's like, you know what I think? I think she'd look good in a leather jacket. And then you're like, well, that's my little girl. So punch in the face. Except in the movie there's no punching. It's just do you have some teenage daughter issues you want to talk through, Richard? My God, you know what? But this just gave me a great idea. I could come up with a contract. Yeah. I can make all potential boyfriends sign it. You get 1.5%. Time with my daughter. That's not that much time. Yeah, exactly. I know what you were going to say. No. You get 1.5%. And then you hesitated. I know what you were getting at. You son of a bitch. You have some issues we need to talk through, Richard. You're getting paranoid. You're paranoid. Where is she? Sweetie, where are you? I love you. Where's my daughter? Where is she? I have a special set of skills. I've watched Game of Thrones. I know what the cutoff. And a contract. I have a contract. That's funny. But yeah, so then he meets somebody else that like helps him out to realize like, listen, you think you are in the food business, but what you're actually in is the real estate business. Right. And this is where shit turns around in Kroc's favor. Yeah, and this is also where he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna start serving everybody a big giant helping of go fuck yourself. Yeah, that's what he's slinging. Now instead of serving burgers, He's serving sides of burgers with sides of go fuck yourself.
Yeah, he is. Because he's basically, he has the ability to give whoever he wants to franchise. Like, hey, you want a franchise? You have to lease this land I own.
Right.
30-year contract. Shit ton of money.
Shit ton of money. And I'll tell you what, companies, that is another practice that still exists to this day.
Oh, yeah.
Where a restaurant will have two separate companies, and they will buy the land with one company, and then they'll put the restaurant on it with the other, and then pay themselves rent.
Yep. And Walmart's all do that. Your McDonald's all do that. Like, there's a lot of places that do it. And I think it's kind of twofold. One, you're making more money.
Yeah.
And two, you protect your investments.
It's guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Because then, according to the business, you're paying rent. That's just, it's an expense.
Yeah.
It's but for the other one, it's like, hey, it's free money.
When you take that money, you invest it in more land, and you put another business on there. Or you buy a big-ass building, and anybody can have something in there. But that's where, like he said, he's getting this income now, so he's able to give the McDonald's brothers the Big Mac fuck you, because now it's like, hey, guess what? We're not going to have ice cream.
Not only does he do that, he serves up the McDonald's brothers with a side of fuck you. Then he serves up his wife.
Yeah, he does.
Serves her up. He's like, oh, by the way, I brought some fuck you from work. Why don't you have some?
Business still doesn't make any money, but I think I figured out how I will be soon. So I want a divorce. It was such a cold thing too. So they're sitting there at dinner, and she's like, hey, can you please pass the salt? And she was being really supportive at this point too. Like, she was bringing them new like franchisees.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, could you pass?
I will agree with you because you were saying like she's being supportive now. Because at first she was like, you fucking douche. What are you doing? Like, this is another one of your fucking bullshit things. Like, oh, now we're in a restaurant and now we're blah, blah, blah. Like, motherfucker, like, can I just go out once in a while? You stupid son of a bitch. Like, I just want to hang out.
Well, she just wanted to go to the club, and he'd be out on the road for all the time, and
yeah,
she just wanted to look pretty.
And I'll tell you what, and it was totally shady because he put the house on his collateral. Didn't tell her. Didn't tell her. That was some shady shit.
Yeah. But what happened, I was watching this with my wife, Richard, and she's like, hey, can you pass the salt? And he passes it, and he's like, I want a divorce. Looked right at my wife, Tiffany. I said, hey, she didn't say please. Remember that, babe.
She didn't say please. You know what that means? She deserves everything.
But yeah, I mean, it was kind of shady at that point because it was like right as the business was getting to take off. And I'm kind of curious if he knew that.
I bet he did.
And he's like, you know what he did, Richard? So he's basically trying to have this hostile takeover of this business. Then he tries to have a hostile takeover of somebody else's wife.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. And you know what? He wins.
He did. Women don't go for money, though, Richard. That's a lie.
except for Ray Kroc money.
Yeah.
That's different.
That's a lot of money.
There's money, and then there's McDonald's money. Let's be honest. Who was the chick that was your love crush, right?
I don't think so. That played her?
Yeah. That played not the wife, but the second wife in the movie. I thought that was your love muffin.
No, it was Linda Cardellin.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't Amy Adams. No. Mick Adams.
Yeah. Yeah. She's
kind of got bitchy.
God, you gotta remember her name.
I kind of got over her.
Why?
I don't remember. She did some crazy stuff.
Did you see? Usually that, usually makes me love women more.
Well, she's like, I'm not eating at McDonald's anymore. It's like, oh, well, you're off my list.
We had a good run.
I was almost.
We didn't have any sort of run. We didn't even have a light jog together. We had nothing. Nothing.
Oh, all these years mean nothing to you? There were no years. I don't even know your name.
No years. We had years. We didn't have years together.
Security. But Yeah, so basically he had a hostile takeover of McDonald's and a hostile takeover of somebody else's wife.
Yeah, he
But
did.
I mean, at this point, so basically he gets these brothers, and it's so sad to see what he did too, because they're like, he's like, so it all stems with ice cream. This is how he basically starts. That he's giving them the big fuck you. He's like, hey, we're going to use powder stuff.
He's in the kitchen making some go fuck yourself, and he's getting ready to put in the wrapper and sell it.
Yeah. And they're like, well, we have a final say and everything. He's like, I mean, do what you want. I've just formed this new company called the McDonald's Corporation. He's like, you can't do that. That's our name. Nope, different business. I had a second word and a first word, the McDonald's Corporation. You're just McDonald's. So fuck you. I own all the land.
Oh my God.
And so one of the dudes basically has like a anxiety stroke heart attack thing.
Yeah. You know who does? Big Mac.
Yeah. It's like, hey, Big Mac, 2 patties.
That's a good point. And even as a bigger, like the guy's name is Big Mac, so he's like, I'm gonna name a burger after him. And then he makes it like the biggest fucking like greasiest burger on the planet.
He's like, well, you're diabetic, so you can't eat this.
Oh, you can't eat this. Oh, I bet you'd love to eat this, wouldn't you? Delicious. Oh,
all that sugar.
Too bad about your condition. Oh, no. My God.
Yeah. How does that make you
feel? God,
feel?
he's just chock full of go fuck yourself.
Well, once you get that Kroc money, that's kind of where you get to be. It's like, oh, here, why don't you wipe those tears?
Okay, but they always say that, like, the whole, like, money changes people or whatever. Like, I don't know if I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong. But I really don't think I would be that big of an asshole if I had gotten... if I had gotten what they say, like Ray Kroc money.
No, but see, I think the point that drives it home for Kroc, I think there's a good kind of end note on it, but I could say it now. So he's talking to the brothers on the phone, because this ties in perfectly, because basically he's just said, I've got you guys, right where I want you. Either you can't do anything. I own you guys. I own all the land. I can franchise whoever I want. Like, you're basically on thin ice. And he asked him, like, this is wrong. We're going to sue you. He's like, go ahead, sue me. Like, I will have you guys in court for so long that you're going to run out of money. Like, there is nothing you can do.
Right. He even says, like, yes, you could, and you'd probably win.
Yeah. Because this was after he basically said, I'm changing it from actual ice cream to these packets, like fake milkshakes. And he asked Big Mac, he's like, hey, like, I'm the kind of guy that if my competition was drowning, I would stick a hose in their mouth just to put them out, just like to push them even further down. It's like, can you say the same thing? And Big Mac's like, no, I can't. And I'm glad I can't. And that's where it's like, it's me and you. And I think that's why somebody like that can be a dick, because like they're winning. That's to them. They're doing the right thing and winning.
Yeah.
The competition, I'm killing to win.
It's the whole by any means necessary.
Yeah. And we're like, you and I'd be like, oh, well, I don't want to be a dick. I just want to be a Richard.
You son of a bitch.
But I mean, the worst of it, so it gets to the end of this, and basically that whole scenario runs through. He's like, listen, you guys are fucked. Sue me if you want. You probably win, but you're not going to be able to afford it. Comes in after Big Mac has his attack and comes in with a blank check. Like, he shows up. Like, how much of a jerk is that? He's like, hey, brought some flowers and a card.
Yeah.
Open
at the
card.
Hospital.
Yeah.
At the hospital. Shows up. It's like, oh, like, sorry you're feeling bad. It's your fucking fault, dude.
No, open it. I forgot you a card. It's a blank check from the McDonald's Corporation. It's like, yeah, when you're better, we'll talk about that. And
motherfucker.
Again, I don't know how true this is, but they basically make a deal. It's like they said they want $1 million a piece after taxes, so it's like $2.7 million.
Right.
And they wanted 1% of profit.
Yes.
Till the end of time.
That was the sticking point, as they wanted 1%.
So shows up at the table and says, okay, well, here's your check for 2.7. The 1% has to be a handshake deal, because the financiers won't go through with this, which, again, I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know if that's true. Like, he could have been totally talking out of his ass. I'm guessing that he kind of was.
Handshake deal. I mean, $2.7 million is a lot of money.
Whole fuck ton of money.
But they show at the end that 1%. Last year, I think it was, they said, that 1% would have been $100 million.
Yeah. Yeah. Last year alone would have been 1 million.
Yeah.
So you know that over, like, from whenever they signed this deal to now, like, you're talking
billions,
probably
multi-billions,
easily
that them and their family missed out on, because I'm sure with deals like that, like it travels with your family, I would assume.
Oh yeah, I would assume as well.
And so this dude dies in 1984, Kroc does, and these people basically help create that thing miss out on that 1% because of a handshake deal, because they were too trusting.
Yeah.
So, Richard, I wanted to make a deal with you. So the profits from this podcast that we've been getting, just gonna have to
wait a minute. There's profits?
No, it's a handshake deal real quick. Here.
Oh.
Virtual handshake.
No. You know what? I'm not shaking your hand. You know why? That's what you get for calling me dick, you son of a bitch. Now here, why don't you have some of the shit sandwich I made?
No.
I call it the Big Shawn. You son of a bitch.
But I mean, it was an interesting movie. It definitely gives you the peek inside of the dirtiness of business, especially back then when so many things were kind of new. I mean, you look at like Burger King's, Arby's,
you could
KFC's.
Easily fuck somebody over, and you could easily and blatantly fuck somebody over. I mean, that still goes on today, but
I'm curious how many like new ideas like that get. I mean, like Victoria's Secret, the guy who created that, like he sold it for like $3 million, and it's worth like hundreds of millions now. I think he ended up killing himself because it's kind of like, it's like the lottery thing. It's like you have a winning lottery ticket and you accidentally wash it in the wash. It's like, well, what do I do now besides
go outside and water a tree?
One day. But Richard, it's a long, interesting movie. I say it's worth checking out. But, what are your Richard's closing thoughts to tie into this?
I know
movie?
He's dead, but I think we should go ahead and put a disclaimer: stay the fuck away from Ray Kroc.
Yeah, don't give him any of your ideas.
Not only will he fucking shit in your, he will piss in your cornflakes.
He might bang your wife.
Possibly bang your wife, and then name a sandwich after you.
Yeah,
that's fucked up.
I call this the Big Shawn salad. Why is that? Because his wife likes to toss
because
salad.
I took a shit in it. Call this Big Shawn salad. I fucked your wife on it.
Do I get any royalties from that?
Have to be on a handshake basis.
All right, well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit our website. We're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter. We're at languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. Check out the LB Army intelligence reports. Like us on Facebook. And go out and recruit somebody for the LB Army by getting someone you know to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or Stitcher.
And when you are there, be sure to rate us and leave a review, because much like restaurants, those reviews are super helpful in helping other people to find us.
Yeah. And if you want, you can always check us out on the Pod Bros Network,
because it's the podcast site on the internet that we love so much and we want to franchise it.
Yeah, I got to get a deal with John, a handshake deal.
Yeah, make sure it's a handshake deal.
We're going to own all the domains.
Yeah.
And if you want to, you can throw a little bit of money in our tip jar so Richard and I can afford something off the dollar menu. Go to our Patreon accounts, www.patreon.com/languageofbromance. I think it's at like $1 right now, so we could at least share a burger once a month.
Oh my God, don't cut it though. Like, we can have it like Lady and the Tramp. You'll eat one half and I'll eat the other half.
We get
and
stuck
people
on the pickle.
Like, oh my God, those two are so poor. They must be podcasters.
All right, was there anything before I close her out?
No.
All right, well, that's all the Bruins we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And I say we eat the beaver. Well, that's Pepsi Cola.
Yeah. Oh,
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. We're eating the beaver.
there you go. Fix that in post.
Yeah.